And the cameras say we're live, so good evening, everybody. It is November 20th. It is 6:30. It's time to begin the Liquor Control Commission. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brady.
Commissioner Vogel.
Here.
Commissioner Papantos.
Present.
Commissioner Vito.
Here.
Commissioner Lang.
Here.
Commissioner Kruger.
Present.
Commissioner Rafato.
Here.
Chairperson Horker.
Here. You have before you the minutes of the special meeting of September 18th, 2023. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Papantos, second. I'm sorry, Commissioner Papantos, second. Commissioner Kruger, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lang.
Yes.
Commissioner Vito.
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Rafato.
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger.
Yes.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes, you also have before you the minutes of the special meeting of October 16th, 2023. Can I also have a motion for their approval?
So moved.
Second.
Give it to Trustee Commissioner Papantos, second Commissioner Rafato. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Vito.
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel.
Abstain.
Commissioner Rafato.
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger.
Abstain.
Commissioner Lang.
Abstain.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes. New business.
There's no citizens.
Oh,
so
citizens, I'm sorry.
no. New business. 6A, consideration of a request for a Class B liquor license for Armo Grill LLC, a proposed restaurant at 516 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Spondelis.
Thank you. As the title indicates, this is a request for a Class B restaurant license for Armo Grill. It's a fast casual restaurant that is in the process of opening at 516 North Milwaukee Avenue. They plan to serve lunch and dinner of Mediterranean and Armenian cuisine. And following the appropriate background checks of the applicants, I would ask that any motion to approve be contingent upon 5 conditions. First, the passage of an ordinance by the Board of Trustees authorizing the creation of a new Class B liquor license. Second, payment of all applicable fees. Third, submittal of a certificate of liquor liability insurance. Fourth, submittal of Bassett certificates for all applicable individuals. And finally, submittal of a lease for the premises for the full period for which the license will be issued. The petitioners are here, and between them and myself, we can answer any questions.
Nothing to my left. Nothing to my right. If nobody has any questions, I'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved with conditions. Second.
Commissioner Kruger, second Commissioner Papantos. Roll call.
Commissioner Papantos.
Yes.
Commissioner Vito.
Yes.
Commissioner Lang.
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger.
Yes.
Commissioner Rafato.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel.
Yes.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes. Number B.
6B, consideration of a request for a Class N-V liquor license from YC Café LLC doing business as Vegas Lounge, a proposed video gaming cafe at 280 East Dundee Road.
Mr. Spondelis.
Thank you. Items 6B and 6C are connected. And in brief, what is happening is that one gaming cafe is buying another. So Elsa's, an existing business in our community, is buying out Maze. And because licenses are not transferable, this is an application by the group that owns Elsa's, which is YC Café. They are looking to occupy the Maze location with a nearly identical use under the name of Vegas Lounge. The next item on the agenda is a vacation of the existing license for Maze Café. So that's how these two items are connected. Should the commission wish to move forward, I would ask that the vote be made conditioned upon 3 items: payment of all applicable fees, submittal of Bassett training certificates for all applicable employees, and finally the forfeiture of the existing liquor license for the subject premises. I believe the petitioners are here and can answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Commissioner Rafato?
I do. I'm not sure if this is for the petitioner, but is the
Is the license to have gambling transferable within the state?
No, in fact, they cannot open until the gaming board is on site and approves them.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? There are no other questions. I would need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Commissioner Papantos, second.
Second.
Commissioner Vito, roll call, please.
Commissioner Vito,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Rufato,
No.
Commissioner Vogel,
No.
Commissioner Papantos.
Yes.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes. C.
Motion to declare the Class N-V liquor license held by Mays Wheeling LLC doing business as Mays Lounge to be forfeited and lapsed.
Mr. Spondilis, is this what you just talked about?
It is indeed. Mays ceased operations prior to November 1st, and they have submitted an affidavit, a signed affidavit, saying that their business is closed permanently and asking for, or providing forfeiture of their liquor license. I guess
Question?
I can answer any questions. The petitioner is not here.
They're closed.
They're closed.
Questions or comments? Motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Commissioner
Second.
Rufato, second. Was that Kruger? Commissioner Kruger, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lang,
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger,
Yes.
Commissioner Rufato.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos.
Yes.
Commissioner Vito,
Yes.
Chairperson Horker.
Yes, that concludes the Liquor Control Commission meeting for the evening. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner Rufato, second. Commissioner Lang, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Liquor Control Commission for the evening is adjourned. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Village of Wheeling for November 20th, 2023. Clerk Brady.
Hold on, let me just open.
I did that too fast. I know, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just want to open it.
Roll call.
Almost. All right. Trustee Vogel,
Here.
Trustee Papantos,
Present.
Trustee Vito,
Here.
Trustee Lang,
Here.
Trustee Kruger,
Present.
Trustee Rufato,
Here.
President Horker.
Here. We have minutes. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of November 4th. Motion for their approval.
So moved.
Motion, Trustee Kruger, second, Trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos,
Yes.
Trustee Vito,
Yes.
Trustee Lang,
Yes.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
Trustee Rufato,
Yes.
Trustee Vogel,
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes, changes to the agenda?
There are no changes this evening.
Okey doke. Clerk Brady, proclamations.
Angela Peters Day, December 1st, 2023. Whereas Angela Peters began her employment with the Wheeling Finance Department as a finance clerk on November 27, 1989. And whereas during her career, Angela Peters has also served as fiscal assistant financial clerk, secretary typist, administrative secretary to the director of finance, and finance service coordinator. And whereas Angela Peters has played an essential role in the finance department by managing the village risk management program, processing its property casualty and workers' compensation claims, assisting with the preparation of the village proposed and final operating budget, and partnering with other departments to ensure they comply with the village's purchasing program policy and procedures. And whereas Angela Peters has been a valuable asset to the Village of Wheeling, contributing to its growth, development, and success. And whereas after 34 years of dedicated service with the Village of Wheeling, Angela Peters is retiring. Patrick Horker, President of the Village of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim December 1st, 2023 as Angela Peters Day in the Village of Wheeling in recognition and appreciation of her many years of dedicated service to the community and the finance department.
I don't know, 34 years since you just
Just calls it quits.
It is a wonderful thing when people will stay with a company, with a group for so many decades, and it's kind of unusual. She really has been an asset to the village, and she will be getting a framed, mounted copy of this.
She will, in addition to the street sign that will be hung next week for her last week.
Yes, excellent. So please do tell her thank you from all of us.
I will, thank you.
We have no oaths or appointments. Citizens' comment, Clerk Brady.
Yes. Citizen concerns and comments. Members of the public may address the board with comments regarding issues relevant to village business. No citizen shall speak for more than 5 minutes without consent of the board. Members of the general public who wish to address the board must sign the request to speak form prior to the commencement of the public meeting. Greg Kletecki.
And just as a reminder, this is a time for citizens to make comments and express their concerns, and for the board to listen. Neither the board nor the staff will be answering questions.
I kind of feel like Steve Tilo. Have you ever Googled the Revolutionary War? In that very first sentence, it was said because the citizens were upset with taxation. That's already happening in the state of Illinois. Our population is going down. People are leaving the state because of taxation. For example, my house evaluation went up 48%. My actual taxes went up 42%. Am I being punished because I take care of my house? If they would have come inside, my kitchen is the same one when the house was built in 1969. My son and I looked up some taxation. Do you know the old building where La France was? Their taxes are $51,938. We looked up the empty lot where Don Roth's was, and their taxes are $20,569. The same appraiser who did my house had to do those places. But I did find an appraiser that I want to do my house, and that's the appraiser who does the Horker property. 2 houses, all kind of buildings, 3 businesses, a farm. Their total taxes are $18,852. That's less than the empty lot where Don Roth used to sit, excuse me. But I want to look up 2. One is 004. It's listed as a farm building. How can a car repair be a farm building? But more interesting, their taxes for this year, $1,829. It went down $200. Another parcel, 006, is listed as agricultural use. We took this picture off the village website. We counted 15 semis and over 24 trucks. Agricultural use. When I ran for village president, I put my signs out and I spelled out my name, and the village came after me and said, it's all the same. What about all those signs the Horkers have along Old McHenry Road? Was that a code violation like my name was? They have 2 houses on that property. One house, Bernie and Mike Horker live in. The other one is on Old McHenry Road. In both cases, they claim a homestead exemption. You can only claim it on your primary residency. I know you can't do anything about taxation, but you can do something about code enforcement. The former owner of Rise and Dine complained to me because the village staff was hassling them over her parking lot, where all these trucks are parked. Is that paved? Is that match the code that you put on the Horker property, or is it a code violation of the zoning? I want you to treat everybody in this village the same way. Every resident, every business should be treated the same way. And if there are code violations in a business, you write them up. If there are code violations on Horker property, they should be written up. That's all I'm asking. Treat us equally. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Klotecki. Staff reports. Deputy Chief Conway, what do we got?
Thank you. On November 11th, Chief Dunn, Commander Kopecki, Crime Analyst Veronica Salazar, and I presented before the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement, commonly known as CLIA, for review in Bellevue, Washington. Our collective efforts and commitment to maintaining the highest standards of compliance were acknowledged by the review committee, leading to the Wheeling Department's certification as a fully accredited agency for the 10th time. This accreditation follows 4 years of dedicated adherence to best practices and widely recognized professional standards, culminating in an independent review conducted by assessors and CLIA commissioners. While there, the panel commended our agency in 3 specific areas: social services, recruitment and retention, and peer support. In regards to social services, the social services unit works closely with the police department to address intricate social issues and enhance community well-being. Recognizing that challenges faced by individuals and communities often result from a blend of social, economic, and legal factors, our approach involves stationing a social worker within the investigations unit. This strategic placement ensures the availability of support for detectives handling sensitive cases where victims require special assistance. In regards to recruitment and retention, in 2022, we worked with our testing vendor to implement a test designed to maximize diversity and minimize disparities among applicant groups. Tests prioritize non-cognitive predictors over cognitive ones, providing all applicants with a fair chance of success in promoting diversity and inclusivity within the department. The department's commendable pass rate for the written test in February of 2023 stood at an impressive 88%. And finally, the peer support program. The peer support program is staffed by department members, active and retired, trained to provide rapid assistance, provide specialized referrals to fellow members who may be experiencing crisis or who have been exposed to critical incident situations. The Wheeling Police Department remains steadfast in its commitment to the health and well-being of its members, recognizing that a mentally resilient force is better equipped to serve and protect the community. As a department, we are proud of these accomplishments and remain dedicated to maintaining the highest standards of law enforcement, fostering community well-being, and promoting diversity and inclusivity within our department. Recognition from CLIA from the review committee reinforces our commitment to excellence.
Thank you, thank you, Deputy Chief Conway. It's always so refreshing that I know I can always count on Wheeling's Police Department not to be in the news for something terrible or unseemly, and I do believe it's a result of the leadership, the chief, the deputy chiefs, and sincerely thank you guys so much for all the training and just making us a model of law enforcement for the suburbs. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, President Horker.
Clerk Brady, consent agenda.
Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items. 11A, resolution waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the purchase of fire department radio equipment from GenCom at a cost not to exceed $46,612.69. 11B, ordinance declaring as surplus and authorizing the disposal of personal property owned by the Village of Wheeling and unclaimed property in the possession of the Wheeling Police Department by recycling, trade-in, donations, or public auction. 11C, resolution approving continued participation in the Suburban Tree Consortium for the purchase and installation of parkway trees during fiscal year 2024. 11D, resolution approving a one-year contract with Alpha Maintenance and Services, Inc. for fire hydrant sandblasting and painting services in the amount not to exceed $34,200 for fiscal year 2024. 11E, resolution approving a 3-year contract with Best Quality Cleaning for janitorial services at village facilities in a total amount of $231,000. 11F, resolution approving change order number 1 in the amount of $51,250 to the contract with Strand Associates, Inc. for the Milwaukee Avenue Water Main and Sidewalk Improvement Program. 11G, resolution approving a revised fee schedule for legal services with Klein Thorpe and Jenkins Ltd. 11F, ordinance amending chapter 4.32 of the Village of Wheeling's Municipal Code, alcohol liquor dealers, specifically section 4.32.085 to increase the authorized number of Class B liquor license. That's it.
H.
Didn't I just read that one.
You said F, but it was H.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't, sorry, I just didn't hear.
No, thank you, Mary.
Questions or comments on the consent?
Make a motion, we approve.
Trustee Vogel, second.
Second.
Trustee Lang, roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, new items.
13A, it's the presentation of StormReady certification.
Chief McGreal, what do we got?
Thank you, President Horker, trustees. Tonight, I'm very proud to announce that the Village of Wheeling has been designated a storm-ready community by the National Weather Service. And here to make that presentation, we have representatives. It's Mike Bardou from the National Weather Service and Mick Fleming from the Joint Emergency Management System, and our very own Fire Department Executive Officer, Eileen Breyer.
So I have to confess, I really didn't know what this was all about until I read the description of what we were becoming a part of. Could you just tell everybody what this is?
Absolutely. So I'll start it off. My name is Mick Fleming. I'm the director of the Joint Emergency Management System. So the StormReady program, it's a designation that is facilitated by the National Weather Service. And so we've got Mike Bardou here. He's a warning coordination meteorologist that covers the Chicago area. So this program takes a look at a municipality or a county's overall emergency preparedness efforts, initiatives, and kind of measures it against the national standards that the National Weather Service has outlined as being the essential components of having a robust severe weather preparedness and response program. So they took a look at everything from our emergency operations plans, they take a look at our policies, how we go about issuing warnings, our public engagement, and we submit this application to them. They come out here. The Weather Service, along with the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, Cook County Emergency Management, Regional Security, Lake County Emergency Management, and the Illinois Emergency Services Management Association, the State Association of Emergency Managers. They sit down, they review the application, and then they kind of give you the thumbs up or the rejection. And thankfully, sitting down with the Weather Service and having reviewed all of the efforts that we've gone through, all of the planning and exercising, that we were given the thumbs up that everything that we are doing is in line with the StormReady program that the National Weather Service facilitates. So that is the overview, and I will let Mike kind of go in a little bit more depth here.
Good evening. My name is Mike Bardew, a warning coordination meteorologist at the National Weather Service for Chicago. Our office is actually down in Romeoville. If you're not familiar with the Weather Service, we're part of the federal government, and our local office in Romeoville covers 23 counties in northeast Illinois, northwest Indiana, with a population of about 10.5 million people. So we're one of the largest forecast areas in the Weather Service. So we're there 24/7, 365. If you're familiar with winter storm watches, winter storm warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, that's us, basically. And so we provide a lot of weather support service to the public safety community, local, regional, state, national government, and we also administer the StormReady program in the local area. So as Mick said, there's an application process that every community or every entity wishing to be recognized as StormReady goes through, and it's all about either building or evaluating their hazardous weather plans. So they need to have multiple ways to get information in, multiple ways to monitor the weather, ways to get information out to the community in terms of severe weather, hazardous weather, also in terms of community preparedness, as well as internal preparedness. And finally, it's really about building a weather-ready nation. So as we have communities that do all this planning, that prepare for ever-increasing severe weather and climate-type disaster threats, we're building a weather-ready nation one community at a time. That's the goal. So I'm here to recognize the efforts of Coordinator Breyer and Chief McGreal in particular for having Wheeling go through this process. As Mick said, it's a fairly rigorous process. It's also not a one and done kind of thing. So there's going to be a renewal period. Every 4 years we revisit the application, all the requirements, make sure they're being met, and we'll do that continuously. And we've had StormReady communities for multiple decades in some cases, so we're excited to have Wheeling be recognized here tonight. I'll turn it over to Eileen if you have a few comments.
I just want to make mention that going through the education and training for this program has been very beneficial for planning outdoor activities like Rock the Runway and National Night Out. And it's nice to know that we have the support of GEMS and National Weather Service if we were to have a severe weather incident in Wheeling.
Thank you. So finally, just one more quick second. We have a couple tokens of recognition to present to the village. On behalf of the National Weather Service, President Horker, I'd like to present you and the village with this StormReady certificate. And usually of more interest is the StormReady road sign, which you can post wherever you like. So congratulations to everybody here in the village of Wheeling.
Go up front somewhere. Come on over. You guys want some pictures? I guess we need some pictures. Here by the flags. This seems to be a popular bug. Thank you, Chief. Now I get the picture. Thank you guys very much for working. So what this basically means is better advanced
Microphones. Microphone.
Use a mic. Microphone.
I had a microphone.
So what this really means is better advanced warning when seriously foul weather is coming through. It really will benefit the residents and the businesses. It'll benefit Wheeling. We'll be a little ahead of the game. Hopefully save lives, save property. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
What's next, Clerk Brady?
13B, ordinance granting special use approval for the operations of an animal hospital at 751 North Milwaukee Avenue, BCA Animal Hospitals, docket number PSU 23-0011.
Mr. Clicker.
Yes, as Clerk Brady said, this is a request for VCA Animal Hospitals seeking a special use to operate at 751 Milwaukee Avenue. It would be approximately a 3,900, or approximately 4,000 square feet, just under 4,000 square foot facility out of the 10,000 square foot retail building. The Plan Commission heard this request on their November 1st meeting and unanimously recommended for approval with 2 conditions. Condition 1, that the petitioner shall coordinate with staff to finalize the screening method and materials for the proposed pet relief station located south of the building. The final screening details shall be included with the plan set, accompanying a building permit application prior to construction of the site improvements authorized herein. And 2, a wheeling business license must be obtained from the Community Development Department before the business operations can begin at the subject site.
Thank you, Mr. Clicker. I know there are questions from the board. Is the petitioner available? Please come up and introduce yourself.
Good evening. Stephen Rich, appearing on behalf of VCA. I'm Vice President of Asset Management. With me tonight is Peter Wren, our architect, and here to answer any questions that trustees may have.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Kruger, and then Trustee Papantos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Rich, thank you, and thank you for your interest in coming to Wheeling. I do have a couple of questions. I've been a dog owner for a very long time. Big dogs have big problems. Noticing some of what your facility will not do, I had some questions about your operational model. I understand that you will not be doing surgeries. There will be no pets staying overnight. You don't do vaccinations. This is a perfect public opportunity for you to sell what you do. I need to understand it.
Absolutely. So the best way, as we go around the country and address different boards, the best way to think about what we're doing is what we do as humans. So urgent care serves a need when we can't get into our doctors, our internists, whatever that case may be. Maybe we're not feeling great, but we don't need extensive, we need diagnosis and we need prescriptions if necessary. So it operates the same way in the veterinary world. Your pet is not feeling well, you know that. You don't need to go to an ER, a veterinary ER, just like we wouldn't go as humans. And yet you are challenged to get, to seek care from your traditional source. So VCA Urgent Care fills that need. We have a multitude of different veterinary facilities around that range all the way from specialty, which perform the surgeries and the different procedures that we're talking about, and all the way down to general practice, where you would go and take your pets for routine visits, for vaccinations, et cetera. So when whether it's Walgreens, CVS, Minute Clinic, or some of the other urgent cares around, it functions the same way as it does for humans.
Okay, and your hours of operation, I think, were 7 days a week?
Planned 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Got it. Again, I've had dogs. They get a stomach ache on a Sunday. My vet's not open. I bring her to you. You guys do x-rays?
There is an x-ray machine, correct.
So you find out she ate 6 Legos and she needs surgery. What happens in that case?
We would refer immediately out to either an ER, an emergency, or a specialty vet, which covers those hours.
And is your corporation affiliated with those other referral? How are you affiliated with them other than just you have a list of people that you can send us to?
Well, we're all corporately owned, so there's no.
Okay, so they would all be members of the VCA.
Not necessarily to the referral. We want to refer the pets out for the animals for what's best for them. If a VCA is not available or is not close in proximity, we view ourselves as part of the community. So if there's a veterinarian nearby, it's not that we need to refer to a VCA, and vice versa. there's other veterinarians that are in the community that will refer to us as urgent care.
Okay, thank you. Let's switch gears to the site that you are seeking. It has had parking and traffic flow issues. I read in the packet that you will have 4 veterinarians on staff, 20 employees, but on any given day, it's sort of 2 and 10.
Approximately.
Where will your employees park?
The site itself, I've been there a few times. Sometimes our associates will take public transportation to get to us. Sometimes they'll carpool. We reduced down the visits, so we've created an app which, if your pet needs to be seen, you go on, you can wait up, and we'll give you a 30-minute warning before to say your pet can be seen at 7:30. And that way we reduce down on the time that people are actually at the property. They're not going there and parking and waiting 2 hours to be seen. So we're finding that, we call them clients, but customers are using that extensively. And that cuts down on the sites with parking challenges.
Fair enough. And my last question, the pet relief station is proposed on the southwest corner. There was an image in the packet that showed some options that I think staff is working with you on screening.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie to you, I'm concerned about it being on the southwest corner of that Outlot Building B, and it's along the main drag of Milwaukee Avenue. It's directly across the street, or across the drive aisle for Dunkin' Donuts that has an outdoor seating area. You know, can you describe what you're thinking of for screening so that, I don't know what you can do for the top half, because I'm thinking of people in the Westin looking out the west window and, you know, I mean, just wondering what you're going to do about screening.
Yeah, and we've been working with the village to come up, because we have a multitude of options that we do, all the way from no screening in some communities to full screening. And I don't think that we've really reached consensus. When you're talking about the southwest, I'm just trying to orient myself on the map of where.
Is there a, well, on the picture that's on the screen.
The bottom of the red box on the screen.
The bottom left or the bottom?
Bottom right.
The bottom right towards the drive-through for Starbucks?
No.
West, sorry,
No,
left.
it would be west. So it would be west of the blue circle.
Right.
Right outside the southwest corner of your unit.
On the concrete pad.
Where if there were going to be a restaurant there, that would likely be outdoor seating.
Right.
But now instead it's going to be a pet relief area.
Yeah.
So I'm just.
Well, the area itself, I don't think we've defined yet in terms of the size or the scope of it, but we're amenable to putting up screening that will shield it from the drive aisle of the center that's across, I believe that was the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes,
correct.
yes, there at 749.
That's across the way. And in a way also, it provides some privacy and some safety for the people,
pets.
for the pets. So I guess in terms of what do we propose, we've just been working with the village, and we remain open to anything. And of course, when we submit for plans, that will.
I'm thinking of it like a nicer, because of where you're located, which is very high-end uses, a very high-end hotel and some very nice restaurants, and then a speedy pet clinic with a poop station right outside of it. So I'm sensitive to that glorified trash enclosure, you know, but it needs to be screened.
Understood.
So that's all I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. Trustee Papantos and then Trustee Lang.
Thank you. My major issue was the screening. Actually, I think this is a fantastic idea. Welcome to Wheeling. It's something that's needed. Your pet, steps on glass or puts his paw through, a window. You want those stitches. It's always on a weekend or evening when the vet's not available. So I think that's great. I like the model of having people go on an app, using technology that we do have, that you can come in as far as parking, to tell you the truth. I can't see anything going in to this location that's not going to have the same problem. It doesn't matter. I mean, we approve the building, we approve the outlet, so I think this may work, but the screening is obviously very important. I think that Duncan is no longer in existence, so I don't know what's coming up, as far as that particular section, but, I wouldn't want to be, grabbing my coffee and, well, I'd probably get out of the car and pet the dog, but, that's another issue, right? But, please work with staff and make sure that that's there, so thank you.
Yes, you have our commitment.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Trustee Lang?
Thank you. I didn't see it in the report, but in the pet relief area, seems to be the hot topic. Can you locate a water source there and a hose? Because it says it can be waste and anything else can be cleaned in that area, and a hose would be a great addition. Our water source would be a great addition in that area to really facilitate all that and make sure it is all cleaned up. And
Yeah, I think we would look, I don't believe, there's not an existing hose bib in that area, but we would certainly explore it. The turf that we use is actually it's quite interesting, and there's more to it, but it's actually, solids are picked up and disposed of, just like you would if you were walking down the street in your neighborhood to do and pick up after yourself. As far as the rest, it goes through a substrate material, goes through the turf into substrate, and then goes into the ground, just like it would do on the lawns or in your neighborhood. But I understand the concern, and we can see if we can either locate something. I don't know if we can locate it along that wall, but I'm sure that there's water available at some point.
He's saying yes behind you, so.
I defer to our architect.
There's a restroom right behind where that is, so we could punch a hole through the wall and get some water.
I think it'd just help.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lang. Trustee Rufato?
Thank you. Though where the pet relief area is right now, isn't it concrete?
The area that we're working on, that we've been told where it's desired to be located is concrete. Yes.
So you're just going to rip that up?
Yeah, we would saw cut and.
Right, because you said that it's just going to the ground. So.
Yes,
yeah.
correct. Yes, yes. It's called tiger turf is the trademark name of it. That would be.
Okay. So and I assume you well, maybe I'm making the wrong assumption. You don't leave dogs unattended out there?
Never.
Never. Okay. And then lastly, my concern, besides this pet area, is the parking. You've got 12 cars. I know you say that people are going to carpool. I can't remember the last time people carpooled, And so you're talking about 12 cars, that are going to have to go somewhere. So have you worked with any of the other property owners there to have cross-access agreements to park the employees in a different area?
That would have to be addressed by the landlord. We have not. I don't think that we have the ability to set up a reciprocal easement agreement with adjacent properties. It's something that I think.
Well, you could lead the charge in having that done. You could work with the landlord to do that. I know there's.
Yeah, Director Clicker, if you would, there was a process that staff went through as part of the review of the overall project as to how the shared parking agreements worked with the existing at the time and any future businesses. Right. So Ross, if you could walk through that.
Yes, when the Weston development was originally proposed and laid out as part of the PUD, it was determined that the entire site, so Outlet B, Outlet C, where the Westtown Bakery is, Cooper's Hawk, the hotel itself, was all parked at 10 per thousand, which is the standard for a restaurant, figuring that there were going to be restaurant uses and other uses in there. So the entire site was parked at 10 per thousand with the idea that they all share and utilize the parking together.
So there's no need for cross-access agreements, anything? Okay.
This is actually a less intensive use than had it been a restaurant.
Understood.
Probably a good idea for the employees to park further away to leave some of those
Because
available
you
spaces.
still have 12 cars that are going to be there all the time. It's like restaurant workers, they're going to be there all the time. I understand that the folks that are coming in with their dogs are going to be there for an hour, hour and a half, and then leave. That I can understand. I think the parking will take care of that unto itself. I'm just the employees and the vets and the employees.
Understood. And it would be understanding the site plan itself now and how it interplays with the West, and we would direct those associates and doctors and any employees to utilize that the furthest away, of course, to open up the front for customers.
If there are no other questions or comments, thank you, trustees.
Motion to approve?
Is that trustee Lang?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
No.
President Horker?
Yes. Welcome to town.
Thank you.
Good
Look
luck.
forward to being a part of the community. Thank you.
13C, resolution of the corporate authorities to determine the amount of the tax levy for the 2023 tax year.
Mr. Kaplan.
Yes.
We're not going to get any more of these out of you, are we?
This will be the last one.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Thank you. Tonight before you is a resolution which will determine the amount of the tax year 2023 tax levy. As you will recall, on November 4th at the budget workshop meeting, the board directed staff to prepare the levy reflecting no increase compared to last year's levy. State law requires the board to approve an estimate of taxes to be collected for the following year, and that's the purpose behind this resolution, is just to determine what the levy will be. It does not bind you to that. You can still change the amount of the levy before you adopt it in December at the meeting of the 18th. So that's the purpose of tonight's resolution. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Nothing? It's our last chance. If there are no questions, motion to approve.
So moved.
Trustee Vogel.
Second?
Second, Trustee Krueger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Thank you for everything, Mr. Kaplan.
13D, discussion regarding capital improvement plan 2024 through 2028.
Just Dan?
Just Dan.
Just Dan. President Horker, members of the board, tonight we have a presentation for you, as we do every year, for the upcoming 5-year capital improvement plan. The document that you have before you is something that takes quite a bit of effort on a number of people's part, and not the least of which is our engineering division. And we have two members of the division here tonight. One is Kevin Pelly. He does a lot of our heavy lifting. He's our engineering coordinator, and he's the guy who keeps the wheels on the bus with all of our projects, making sure that the schedule is adhered to and payments are made, and we get these projects closed out in a timely fashion. The other person is Kyle Getzelman. You may or may not know him. He is a son of Wheeling. He's a lifelong resident, and he's also been with the organization since he was an EIT, and he was an intern here. Since then, he's been promoted to full-time Civil Engineer 1, and more recently, 2 years ago, Civil Engineer 2. He's been doing the yeoman's work of making sure the engineering division gets out all of our capital projects and our infrastructure improvement. And so tonight he's going to be handling the presentation for you for the capital improvement plan. He's also going to be the village engineer as of January 1st, so he'll be filling some big shoes. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kyle.
No pressure, Kyle.
Yeah, no pressure.
Not at all.
Thank you, Dan, for the kind words and the introduction. So first off, thank you, President Horker and members of our board for giving me the opportunity to speak on our capital improvement plan. And also want to thank you for support with our past projects. Our CIP wouldn't be where it is without that support. So with that being said, I'm happy and privileged to present to you this 2024 to 2028 capital improvement plan. All right. So just a quick summary. Our capital improvement plan is just that. It's a plan that outlines our proposed projects, for 5 years out. In this case, 2024 to 2028. And feel free to, if you have questions as I'm presenting, feel free to interrupt, or if you have questions at the end, whatever your preference, I'm more than happy to discuss. Before we kind of get into the 2024 to 28 capital improvement plan, kind of want to go over what we've done this year in 2023. So our MFT street program, we replaced almost 13,000 linear feet of pavement on the northeast section of town, Orchard Lake, Dunhurst 4, Lemke Farms, which is Ridgefield, at a cost of about $1.7 million. Rebuild Illinois funds, we use that to complete phase 1 engineering and start phase 2 for the Wheeling Road improvement project. So that is the engineering design, not the construction. So that is currently ongoing. We completed the resurfacing of Northgate Parkway, about 4,500 linear feet. STP funding paid for about 75% of that, and Rebuild Illinois paid for the remainder. So we're leveraging grant money and stuff to earn funds to complete that. Completed resurfacing of Chaddock also, about 2,800 linear feet. So we've done quite a bit of roadway resurfacing this year. Wolf Road resurfacing. So as you are probably aware, in January of this year, we took over jurisdictional transfer of this roadway. So IDOT resurfaced Wolf Road from a roughly East Manchester to, I would say, give or take Bacardi Lane. So that left a little bit of a stretch between, I would say, Wolf Court and Milwaukee Avenue that was not resurfaced. So we took it upon ourselves to kind of complete that and kind of pretty up that corridor after IDOT resurfaced that or reconstructed that. So after that jurisdictional transfer has taken place, the road is now ours to maintain. So that's why we decided to kind of wrap up that. So with that being said, we did a little less than 4 miles of roadway resurfacing this year, which is a big step. Our goal is 17,000 linear feet, so we surpassed that in order to make sure that all our roadways are in good condition. Water main replacement project, we replaced about 1.5 miles of water main in the Lakeside Villa subdivision. Police and Fire Station 42, the old Fire Station 42, resurfaced and resealed the parking lot. Paver brick maintenance. Paver brick maintenance, we're in year 2 of 4 of that project, so basically replacing and re-leveling all the paver bricks on Milwaukee Avenue from Wolf Road all the way down, basically throughout Restaurant Row. Avalon Sienna, that particular subdivision, residents of that are getting to enjoy a brand new, little over ½ mile of bike path, and that kind of meanders through the creek over in the subdivision over there. Stream bank stabilization, we're continuing our phase 2 design of that. We're kind of waiting on the status of a grant to see if we received it. So that design is still ongoing. Tree program, planted 82 new trees in the village of Wheeling, including 1 tree for Arbor Day. We did implement a new tree management plan. So in future years, we will be planting over 100 trees a year. So next year we can expect a little bit more new trees. So that was about it for, those are the kind of key points for 2023 this year in summary. Moving forward, I kind of want to go over, obviously, where some of these funds are coming from for our capital improvement plan. Capital Improvement Fund, that one is going to cover new infrastructure, new roadways, new water main, projects like that. Capital Outlay Fund, that is for maintenance-related projects, roadway patching, crack sealing, surface treatment, like reclamite. That's what we have there. Motor fuel tax, that is a tax that we receive from the state for basically whenever you go and buy gas, a certain percentage goes towards the motor fuel tax, and the state divvies that up to municipalities to implement and construct new roadways or resurface roadways. Sanitary Sewer Capital Improvement Fund, so our sewer fees go towards that, and that goes towards lining of the sewers and other sewer-related maintenance as it may come up. Storm Sewer Capital Improvement Fund, that is from our stormwater fee, so we use that to do storm sewer-related repairs or infrastructure projects. Storm Sewer Capital Outlay Fund, same thing that basically our stormwater fee kind of covers stuff like that. Televising and mapping would kind of fall under this category. Water Capital Improvement Fund, basically your water fees kind of go towards this fund here, and we use this for new water main installation. Our TIF districts provide some funding for projects. Our water main construction project on Dundee Road is in the town center TIF. Our new sidewalk project along Milwaukee Avenue, I think that's the southeast TIF district. So we have TIF funding that is going to be funding some of those projects. And finally, the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA for short, has $5.2 million, and we're using that funding for the new fire station 42, which is going to be completed next year. So with that being said, I'm going to start going over the projects that we have on the docket for next year, 2024. In this case, we have a streetlight replacement program, which is, the goal of this program is to replace all the concrete streetlight poles in the village and replace them with aluminum ones. We have about $550,000 allocated for this project, which is going to take place in the Ridgefield subdivision. This is the second to last year for this particular program. I think 2026, we will be wrapping that up in miscellaneous sections of town. Our new fire station 42. So a lot of the funding for this project was used this year. I think about $5 million, $1.11 million from ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan Act, is going to be allocated for the remainder of the project that is going to be completed in 2024.
Excuse me, do we have an estimate of when the fire station will be ready? I suspect in springtime. I think a lot of the flat work on the outside should be wrapped up before the end of this year. The interior of the building, Chief McReel might have a better idea about that, but it should be probably springtime. Great, thank you.
Yep. Village Hall generator improvements. So this project, there's kind of two components of this project. That the end goal is to resolve power supply issues that we have at Village Hall. One of these components is we're working with ComEd to improve reliability. I think earlier this year, ComEd improved some infrastructure in the region around Village Hall here to try to make it more reliable. And then installation of a transfer switch to smoothly transition power between primary and secondary being the generator. So those items in combination with this generator should make power availability more reliable at our Village Hall. Sidewalk and concrete, sidewalk R&R program is what we call this. We budgeted $120,000 for this particular project. We have 5 zones throughout Wheeling. We analyze each zone for trip hazards on a yearly basis. And then the following year, we go into those zones and remove trip hazards of greater than, I believe, a ½ inch. So next year, we are expecting to cover Zone 3 and parts of Zone 4. So we're moving along throughout the town, reducing trip hazards and back pitch sidewalks.
Kyle?
Oh, yes.
In the dark, can't see.
Yeah.
How many squares will you be replacing? How many miles or how many feet will you be replacing?
That's a good question. It's about, each sidewalk square is about $200, so 5 squares per 1,000 times 120, about 700 sidewalk squares, 5 feet, a couple hundred feet. The trip hazards that we're correcting are usually just 1 or 2 squares each. We usually have to transition them back, depending on if roots are heaving up the sidewalk. So it might only be 600 or 700 feet, but, the amount of trip hazards we have in town, we're just replacing a couple of sidewalk squares for each. Did that answer your question?
Yep. Awesome. I couldn't have done that math that quickly, so that was pretty good.
Thanks. Capital outlay, the paver brick maintenance project. So the Restaurant Row corridor, we're obviously trying to replace the paver bricks that are running along the parkway through there. A lot of the paver bricks were installed, I think, 15 plus years ago. So we're just trying to replace those and make them look nice, re-level in areas that have settled. We got, it looks like, about $135,000 to put towards that next year. This particular project I'm pretty happy with and pretty proud of. So the pictures that you see here are not actually wheeling, but it better portrays what we're hoping to achieve here. So our asphalt surface treatment program, which is our Reclamite program, basically is a surface treatment that we apply on the roadways shortly after a resurfacing. And basically, if you look at these two pictures, this is from Arlington Heights, but the results that you see here are kind of what we're looking to achieve. So both of these roads were resurfaced in 2013. The one on the right was had a Reclamite treatment, so the surface treatment installed in 2014. The one on the left did not. As you can see, the roadway on the left has a significantly more crack seals that they did. The roadway on the right still looks in great shape. So we are continuously applying this Reclamite treatment to new roadways in order to increase the longevity of the roads. And this, $80,000 that we're putting towards this is a significant decrease in the amount that we have in the past, and we're still getting a great product for it. So, so this is, like I said, a project that I'm pretty proud of.
Kyle. Excuse me.
Yes.
Sorry. Once a road is resurfaced, how many years before you do the Reclamite?
Usually the year after, and then maybe once again around 7 years. After that, the roadway condition is not really conducive for the treatment.
Thank you.
Same question, but I'll add on to it.
Yeah.
Is Reclamate?
Reclamite, yeah.
Is that used on only streets that have curb and gutter?
It can be used on any asphalt roadway. It doesn't necessarily have to have curb and gutter, but the key is that it needs to be used on a roadway that's relatively new. If you use it on roads that are deteriorating, it's not as effective.
Well, you know why I'm asking. Jackson Drive is no curb and gutter.
Yeah.
I believe it was resurfaced.
2015 or 16?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has it ever had a Reclamite treatment?
No, it hasn't. Reclamite is something new that we used to do what's called the NHA5 treatment, which was a kind of looked more like a seal coating that you would put on a driveway. It was a lot more expensive. We didn't feel like it was as effective, so this Reclamite.
Never saw that done either.
Oh, it was done on Hollywood Ridge, I think, that subdivision. I'm not 100% sure which subdivisions. I know Hollywood Ridge and a couple other subdivisions as well. We were not overly impressed with that.
That was the one that was like just on the sides, right? It was just...
Oh, no, it was the entire roadway, but it looked like a tar that you put on a driveway, for example. It was about 4 times the price as this Reclamite, and we just didn't feel like it was worth 4 times the cost. So Reclamite has been, in that picture that obviously the previous slide, shows it's a pretty effective product.
I think, and I believe it is. I just think that I asked about it when we first started using it in town because I think Jackson had been recently resurfaced. And I think I was told it was, it doesn't happen for another year or so until after resurfacing. So I'm just wondering.
We just began Reclamite 2 years ago.
Yes.
So that was probably was it HA6? What was the?
HA5.
HA5.
Yes.
That was a different product. And to go back to that point, the reason that we're spending less is because we're getting more without spending so much money. So it's a better product. We are not doing fewer streets. It's a program much like how you follow your water main program with your street repair program, so that you have everything in a nice tidy order. Same thing. We plan for Reclamite application the year after we resurface a street. So we just found they found a better product that works far more efficiently, thank you, and at a far less cost. So
sounds great.
There you go.
Thank you.
No problem. Next project, our motor fuel tax, as I discussed kind of at the beginning of the presentation, the money that we get from that tax is going towards street improvement programs. In this case, we're going to be resurfacing more roadways in town, about 2.5 miles, I believe, about $2.2 million. We're going to be focusing on the remainder of Orchard Lake, Dunhurst, I think Catherine Court and Ridgefield. There's a couple streets in there that still need to be wrapped up. In addition to curb and asphalt replacement, this also is to update ADA in these neighborhoods. So any sidewalk crossings that are not ADA compliant, we will be making sure they are, and that's consistent with our ADA transition plan as well. Wheeling Road improvement. So we have about $1 million set aside for basically the design for this particular project. We there's two kind of components to this design, the roadway itself and then the culvert that as you may be aware, we had a failure earlier this year in the culvert that we had temporarily repaired, but we're kind of expediting the replacement of that. So the design for that has started and it will continue into next year, and then the culvert will be replaced next year as well. We are going to also be resurfacing, so as I mentioned in the previous slide, water main is being replaced in Lakeside Villa. The roads are getting beaten up by all the construction equipment out there, so we have a project dedicated to resurface all the roadways in that particular subdivision. With all the trenches that were dug and the heavy equipment, the roads they need to be resurfaced. Sanitary sewer lining. So this project is basically going to be lining sanitary sewers in town to prevent infiltration. So old sanitary sewers, their joints don't seal as well. You'll get infiltration, which is basically a negative impact when it comes to the water treatment facilities. And infiltration is groundwater that's making their way into the sewers. So we don't want that, and that makes a greater burden for the water treatment facilities. So we have a project that's going to be lining a lot of the sanitary mains in town. Lift station improvements, so we have $180,000 set aside to replace the some components of the lift station at the Arlington Club lift station, but more importantly, install a backup generator. That way, in case the power goes out, the residents still have a means of their sewage to kind of be evacuated from the subdivision there. South Dunhurst Storm Sewer Improvement Project. This is a pretty big project. I kind of want to go over a couple different components of it. So we are entering into a public-private partnership with RES, hopefully, to kind of fund this project. This is approximately $5 million project that is going to install a 17-acre-foot stormwater management basin on the Mark Twain School property, and it will basically protect the at least 34 homes that are generally flooded in heavy storm events. It's going to go a long way into mitigating the flooding issues out there. So in addition to the public and private relationship or partnership with RES, we're also going to be working with School District 21 to acquire, our relationship with them to acquire some land for the basin, and then basically in exchange for that, we're going to be building them a turf field. So, we're working with RES on this and the school district. So this project is going to finish design and hopefully start construction sometime next year. Stormwater televising and mapping. So this is a 4-year-long project. We've wrapped up this year, and we're going to be putting about $750,000 towards it next year. But basically, it's an ongoing program to televise and assess the location and condition of the storm sewer throughout the town. And basically, if our GIS is incorrect, we will do a better job mapping it and basically looking for damaged pipe so we can make sure our storm sewer system is operating, at 100%. And in addition to what I just mentioned, we are also doing a good job cleaning out a lot of these storm sewer pipes as we televise. So that is a maintenance item as well that will improve the flow and capacity of our storm sewer system. Water main replacement program. So this project kind of got fast-tracked due to basically Dundee Road proposed to be resurfaced in 2025, according to IDOT. So we kind of fast-tracked this project, but this is a water main replacement program for Dundee Road between the railroad tracks and Hollywood Ridge. We wanted to get this project in place before Dundee Road was resurfaced. That way, if we have to install the water main in the roadway, we're not cutting into a brand-new road. So this project is set up for, 2024. We do have water main projects on schedule for 25, 26, and 27. So our goal here is to replace at least 2 miles of pipe a year in order to keep our infrastructure, up to date. So we're moving along with that. So this project, water main loop from River Mill to Sumac, in addition to some new public sidewalk. Basically, it's a water main and sidewalk project, but it has 3 goals. Basically, improving sidewalk accessibility in this Milwaukee Avenue corridor between Tower Road and I think that's Prestwick and along Hintz Road. We really don't have a whole lot of sidewalk through there, so we're going to be filling in some of those gaps. Providing access to water to the businesses along Milwaukee Avenue, and the water main loop will improve water quality in this region of the village. Stream bank stabilization, as we mentioned earlier, we're hoping to kind of get this project started next year. We're going to be, performing the stream bank stabilization on the stream Buffalo Creek between Northgate Parkway and Dundee Road. If you've ever looked at that while driving over Northgate Parkway's bridge, there's a lot of erosion, and we're trying to kind of rectify that before it gets worse and affect the property owners over there. So that is hopefully going to be started next year. That's all I have for 2024 projects. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Just on that last slide with the stream bank stabilization, will that help the homeowners, and I don't know the name of the subdivision over here by Hawthorne and Glen as?
Yes, there are a lot of those homes over there. If you look at historic aerial images over the years, their backyards are kind of eroding into the river. So yes, the goal is to kind of work with these residents to kind of prevent that from getting worse.
Great, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Doesn't look like it.
No. Great job. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
Great job.
So this is just accepting it? This is a discussion? There's no vote?
This is just a presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Official communications. Left, right? Nothing? Trustee Papantos?
I just wanted to thank everybody who was involved in the successful lighting of the lights last night, Public Works. The town looks great, everything's lit, lights are on. Public safety, thank you, police and fire, saw a lot of people there keeping traffic moving and everybody safe. And a special shout out to Lisa Leontios and all the administrative staff who put that together. We stand there and, somebody pushes a button and it looks good, but, the little food truck and everything going and Santa being there and arriving on time. By the way, the public work trucks really looked good with the decorations this year, bringing Santa in, so thank you to village staff for making our town look so great.
Thank you, Trustee. Well, and Public Works, too.
I said they were first.
Well, for all the work, not just the truck.
I have one thing, too.
Trustee Rufato.
I want to thank the technology staff for moving the monitors on this side. I always thought it was just rude for us to be looking that way and the petitioner would think we're not looking at them. Now it's perfect, and thank you for that.
I thought it was because you were a lefty.
Well, that too, but I think they changed it on your side too, Dave, and I know you're not lefty.
That was another in-house project that building maintenance did, so thank you to Public Works as well.
All right, official communications. Relative to the property tax situation, this old horse is familiar to me. Anybody who's interested in receiving the same type of property tax discount can simply go to the Illinois compiled statutes. Definition of agriculture for the purposes of taxation. You conform to all of the requirements, and you can be eligible for the same type of property tax deduction. It's all right there in public. Go right ahead. Then, of course, we were inspected by 2 people a few years ago who I guess think that we conformed and complied relative to code enforcement. The signs you tried to have me take down back when we were running against each other, and that was not allowed. Other code enforcement, I think we just came in for some permits a couple of months ago. We spend more time with community development now than we ever have in the past. There are, however, farms in town that aren't really farms. I do think they should be investigated, and I will make sure that I see about that. You might check 03, 02, 100, 076, 00, 00. That is another farm in town, and you can catch it off the recording. I got nothing else. That means we're done. Official bills. You have before you the bills from November 2nd to the 5th, 2023. Can I have a motion for their approval?
So moved.
Trustee Pavantos, second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato. Roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, there is no executive session this evening, so I could use a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Or we can stay here. Trustee Papantos, second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
I was going to vote in a second. I was.
Nothing else to do?